Hey everybody, this is Bran'sTech, and in this video, I am once again exploring in the world of Apple. More specifically, in the world of Apple Connect. Other known as iTunes. Okay, so if you saw my recent video, well, you probably wouldn't have seen. You will have seen my recent video, which was about the different Macs. This one's the one about what I call Apple Connect. So this what I'm talking about is so you don't think I'm crazy because this isn't the name for it. This is what they call because I was asking Apple. I was like, so what's the name of your Apple Connect? They're like, well, I mean it's just iTunes. But I mean almost everyone has something similar. But anyway, so if you notice that the Apple product do connect. The iOS family is the one that connects the most. What I mean by the iOS family, almost every Apple product that runs, well, basically the Apple products that run iOS, tvOS, or watchOS is part of the iOS family. Now these all connect great, and then it also connects pretty well with OS 10. And then, but in order for them to work, they with the Apple ID, using the Apple ID, they need to use iTunes, which is also what runs the Apple Store and almost every Apple product that runs these operating systems. Now, of course, this also works. So these are made for the iOS family. This the Apple Connect is made like I just said a few seconds. Made for the iOS family, which not necessarily is iOS. It's also made for, but and then also works well with the Mac family. And actually, the Mac family works perfect with each other. Kind of like the iOS family works well with each other and works great with each other, but they're also compatible with the opposite families, like the Mac family and the iOS family do actually connect. For example, but the iOS family works best with each other, and the Mac family works best with each other, but they both share the same. And actually, the Mac fam, those families will actually merge when Mac OS Sierra and iOS 10 come out, because it will be joining and kind of merge when Siri jumps over to Macs. I'm not sure if it will be like Cortana, where Cortana knows everybody from and saves everything to the cloud across all the devices, or not. But anyway, The products that do connect are the MacBook, Apple TV, the iPhones, iPads, and the iPad Pros, the Apple Watch. Oh, oopsie. And so specifically, it's the Macs, iPad, iPad Pro, iPhone, Apple Watch, Apple TV, Apple Music, iTunes, iPods, and the airport. Let me click on. Actually, let me go ahead and click on everything. And of course, accessories work, but they don't. They aren't connected as the same. So of course, I'll actually get back to the Macs later. So let me scoot them all the way. Oops, all the way over. Starting with the iPads and the iPad Pros. So the iPad family um, connect first, and these are actually the iPad Pros and the iPad Minis is what I'm talking about. And these are and they each have their own role. So the iPads, their role is to do gaming and light productivity. Then we have the iPad Pros, which are made for productivity. Then, on the other hand, we have the iPhones, which are made for calling, texting, and for light usage and social media. Then we also have the Apple Watches, which have their short fame because the Apple Watches are made as a companion to the iPhone. But they actually work. But the iPhone and the Apple Watch share the same feel. And actually, I forgot about with the iPad. The iPad is also made for videos as well. Then over here we have the Apple TV, which as they call it, the future of television. The Apple TV is made with tvOS, with the while the Apple Watch uses watchOS. The tvOS it does include Siri, which is actually pretty nice, and it is a companion to the iPad. While Apple Music is a result of iTunes and Beats Audio. And Beats, which they have actually earned. Well, got. And this is their streaming. And then we have over here. Okay, and like I said, over here is the you know Apple Music, which is basically like the radio. And Apple Music is a companion to the iPod Touch. Hey everybody. Okay, so iTunes. This is actually what connects everything together, but this is specifically talking about the music, almost like Apple Music, which is like the radio, which is a companion to the iPod, which we're going to get to in a minute. iTunes is the desktop. Is for desktop specific. In my words, in this specific situation, although you can get iTunes anywhere with the bundled Apple Music. And so if you have a PC, it connects with the Apple link with iTunes. You download iTunes to the PC and it works like a charm. And as you see, the iPhone, iPod, and iPad all have it. Then we have the iPods, more specifically the iPod Touch series, which runs the iOS operating system, and its role is to play the music. But here is the iPod controls to play. Like I said, it is music, and that is the iPod Touch. Well, then we have regular iPods over here, the iPod Nanos, and the iPod Shuffle, and previously the iPod Classic. The iPod's role is to, well, are to play the music. They play music and they also can do quick videos. And then over here we have the accessories. Now these some but the ones I'm focusing on is the beats. They work together with almost anything. More specifically, Apple Music is what they are for. But they can only work with those and not really with anything else. Then over here we have the Mac. Now the Mac runs OS 10. Then later on MacBook Sierra, Mac OS Sierra. Right now, right now, OS 10 El Capitan, and we have all these models of the Mac. And of course, the Macs do work together, and their purpose is for the computing. And over here we have the airport family, not the airport that goes wrong, not the one with the airplanes. Anyway, these are the wireless routers. Now these don't really connect like the other ones do, but these or the routers, they're there to help you, and they help, well, power up the others. In case you have a printer, your printer connects that way, as well as a lot of your other stuff. Now, Apple does not make a printer, but you are printers and scanners for Apple, as also accessories. And I actually got one of these. I got this third one over here. I actually got this for my birthday a few days ago. But all of these, mostly HP printers, are AirPrint supported, which means you can print from them, but they're not necessarily made from Apple. So you may be wondering, so, they all have their own spot, but suppose you don't own one, so you're like, well, the family's broken. That is not true. So you may not own an iPod. So you're like, oh no, I can't do the music. Or, I broke in the family. So what happens is someone else takes over. So if you do not have the iPod, your iPhone can do the music. It's as simple as that. If you do not have an iPhone, the iPod will take over. But of course, you cannot call. And then, if you only have a Mac, well, if you only have an iPhone and a Mac, you can text off. Well, if you do not have an iPad Pro to do your high productivity, you can use your Mac. If you do not have a Mac, you can use your iPad Pro. If you don't have an iPad Pro, you can use your iPad. It's basically like that. Now, the printer doesn't really matter, but let me see. Suppose the Apple Watch. You don't need it, even though it's a part of the family. However, you can replace it with the iPhone because it's just a companion. It's not required. Kind of like the Apple TV. If you don't have one, the iPad could take over because you can watch is a big enough screen to take over. And although if you don't have the iPad, you can use the Apple TV. With Apple Music and iTunes, well, iTunes has everything's on iTunes, but you can always use Apple Music. And instead of Apple Music, you can use iTunes. And of course, you don't need the beats. And also, but you can, because you can always listen to the sound on your actual device. And of course, you could use any type of router, so you do not necessarily need to use the airport. It is as simple as that. And I hope you like this video. Thank you for watching and have a great day.